with the highest degree that it deserves. So I've been a pastor a little longer than that, 4 years in Bible College before joining Africa Inland Church, Plainsview in '96. And my church also 2 years of probation before I was admitted to Bible College. Okay. So it has been a long journey, being able to be trained and to be prepared.
All right, and the reason I asked that is because it was leading up to this question. Have you ever, in all your years in this profession, witnessed events such as we are seeing in Shakahola?
Not necessarily so close home like it has done now. I've read the stories of events like this. Probably Jim Jones in 1978 in Guyana, where about 900 people were massacred through poisoning because they were hoping to meet with Jesus. And also not so far from home, around 2000, there's a man of God, Kibertere, in Uganda, Kanungu in Uganda, where about 700 people or somewhere around there were massacred by being burned to death. And so when it strikes close home, it drives the point home. It becomes more traumatic. When you read stories of people you probably know, people you've probably met, people you respect, who are either relatives or friends or colleagues, it is quite traumatic and saddening. Traumatic. Yes.
All right. How about you, Dr. Makanda? Perhaps I should qualify my question by asking, in Kenya, have you ever witnessed such an event?
No, we haven't had this type of an event in Kenya, at least as far as I can remember in the recent past. And so this is shocking because it's extreme. But yes, there exists doomsday cults, and this is one of those. Doomsday cults thrive on a teaching about end times, that the end is imminent and the end is here. It is coming upon us very soon. So escape this world that has suffering, that has many things, and the leader or the teacher of this doomsday most of the time builds on that false hope and creates an aura of expediency and urgency. And people seemingly they tend to believe without questioning. They believe the authority of the leader, and the leader teaches in such a way that it's hard for you to convince people against it. It's exclusive in terms of their teaching. They isolate you from family and society and what is normal, and they begin to create an exclusive environment for believers, so that then there's no ways and means of getting feedback from outside world, and people end up taking their lives. I think this is the extreme we have had in this country. There may be a few others that teach similar teachings, but they haven't come to the point of causing this type of massacre that we have seen. Mm. Yeah. Perhaps
I should start with this question, because yesterday I hosted an advocate by the name of Angela, and she said a lot of people are now asking themselves, am I in a cult? What is a cult? Reverend Dr. Adera.
Well, a cult is very difficult to explain, or we probably may just be able to describe, because there is always this feeling that I am in religion and you are in a cult. As long as you may not be agreeing with me on certain tenets of my religious faith, and then you may probably be branded as a cult. So it is very difficult to pinpoint a definite definition on what a cult is, because do we describe a cult by the teaching that may be outside what is acceptable and defined within a certain religious movement? Do we define a cult by its newness? In other words, if an organized religion has come recently, do we say it is a cult? Do we define a cult by the certain harmful practices that they may be having? Or do we define a cult by the number of people? If my religious movement has more people, many people, and another one has fewer people, do we say the one that has fewer people is a cult? So there are probably just characteristics or descriptions or practices that may be harmful, definitely outside what is agreed upon or normalcy, that will define what a cult is. Okay. So a cult is a movement that will go outside what is generally acceptable in religious terms.
So just because, Dr. Makanda, something is not conventional, does that then make it cultic?
I don't think so. Perhaps the critical characteristics will be this authoritarian control over the minds and behavior of people. You discover that I hypnotize you to the extent that you can't think for yourself. You stop being rational. And people are ordinarily known to be Homo sapiens, thinking people. But you realize that there's a certain level of authoritarian control in this institution that people just can't be free. If I come and say, Olive, today we are going to sweep Nairobi and clean it so that I walk on it alone, people do it. That is a warning sign. When you see a religious leader or whatever leader with that type of control over people, the tendency is that there's a cultic movement. There may be also extremist beliefs, beliefs that are not normal and conventional. If you put beliefs on a continuum, they are on the extreme right or left, if you like, and they tend to think that they're the only ones who are right. Nobody else is right. What they think and believe in is the right thing. And so if you think anything else contrary to what they believe, you are a wrong person. Sometimes they will attack you. They will isolate themselves from you. They will hit at you because your beliefs are different from theirs. They are not accommodative at all. But also, there may be isolation from society. People think that this world is not good enough. It is not normal. So they, members of a cult, they want to be isolated. They want to stay away from friends. You realize there's somebody who you went out and had a drink with, who you went out and had a chat with, no longer wants to sit with you, no longer wants to go on safari with you, no longer wants to have your company. Begin to suspect. It may be a child at home, it may be a husband, it may be a wife. You begin to realize this person is beginning to isolate themselves. So you begin to wonder what is happening. Is it just a psychosocial problem? But it goes beyond psychosocial to a spiritual. But also veneration of a single individual. There's this one individual, the greatest, mightiest apostle, prophet. This person is the only one who is right. He's the only one who has found the true revelation. There is nobody else who has ever existed on this world who has taught anything that is right, that is true, except this particular woman or man. When you see those four things, begin to realize that most likely you are dealing with a cult. The followers may be few, but in many cases, they have powers to bring many groups of people around themselves because of the powers that sometimes they wield over these people.
All right, so
Yes.
we need to take a break. But when we come back, some other definitions I'm interested in. The Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, what classifies a church as evangelical? And because there's been this comparison between, you know, mainstream churches and evangelical, independent, they call them independent churches. And then there's also charismatics. Who are these charismatics? And the other question that has come up, because in the last, you've held 2 press conferences, one after the other, yesterday and the day before. But this gentleman's teachings have been questioned from 2018. Aisha Jumwa in Parliament in November of 2018 said this gentleman says education is evil. This gentleman is advising his followers not to seek out medical care. So for many people, they're asking, where was the church? Why are they coming in now? Why are they speaking up now after we have lost over 90 souls? We come back with that on the other side of this break.